I'm Yep. I'm neuroscientist by my education and spent around 10 years of my life working with fMRI and EEG and these neuroscientific tools. At the same time, I'm an entrepreneur, and for the last 6 years of my life, I've been doing different business in the field of advertising and marketing, and was recognized as one of the most promising entrepreneurs worldwide. And our company called Emonomy is a US company. We work in 50 countries with leading brands and leading agencies, mostly from states in Latin America, but also in a number of other countries. Today, we're gonna talk about attention economy. We're gonna talk about why attention economy matters, and especially matters right now, why it is a huge trend and why we cannot ignore it. We're going to talk about how to use attention economy in the brand marketing practice and some examples and use cases how it was applied to the brand marketing needs nowadays. So first things first, I would love to say that strong brand really matters. We know from Kantar and from lots of different data that strong brands, they have higher returns of their shares. They fall not as dramatically as usual brands. They recover much faster. And the performance metrics of them are also better. So if you talk about, let's say, performance marketing, cost per lead of the really cool brand is much lower than of the average of the bad brand. It's really important to have a strong brand, and especially it's important to have it in times of crises. And at the same time, brand building these days is super challenging, and it was never as challenging and as important as nowadays. Why it's so? It's so look here. Do you know what it is? I would love to ask you, but I cannot because right now in webinar everyone is on the mute, so I can't ask you. But anyway, I guess you know that this is called noise, and this is exactly how around 80% of all ads are perceived by people. We live in informational noise, and this amount of noise which surrounds us is getting only bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why around 80% or even more of marketing budgets are wasted, because people do not see these ads. They just thriving in this super big amount of information which surrounds us. And that's why attention became a really limited source of customers. And brand noticed it. Lots of brands right now understand that they fight for consumer attention. And I would love us to cite here Senior Director of Consumer Insights in Mars, who's saying that from virtual cans, fireside chats, to Zoom conferences and white papers, everybody talks about attention economy. And it's true. Attention economy is a trend. It's not only a trend, it's a hope that will be possible to win somehow consumer attention. So right now, it's just not possible to do with the methods which was used before, when the attention was not so limited of customers, and it was not so overwhelmed by the challenge in this sphere. That's why attention economy is one of the leading trends for the previous year, for this year, and for the number of the next years for sure. And one of the leading media group, Dentsu, they put it into their annual report about media trends. And here, attention economy is one of the top 3 trends out of top 10 trends in media space. And I really cannot agree more here. Attention is as valuable as possible, and the one who can win attention, he can win consumers and drive sales, of course. And right now, attention economy is used by the lots of largest agencies and brands. Everyone, of course, wants to work with consumer attention to somehow understand which ads can generate this attention, which can be not so effective here. Everyone wants to allocate media budgets in the channels which can be the most effective ones here. And it's a hot topic for everyone. And talking a bit deeply about why it matters. This is what I've just to show you this small graph. So our aim at the end of the day is to increase somehow brand metrics, because we have two parts of this stream. So the first one, we somehow has to create ads which can increase emotional response based on some creative magic. At the same time, we have to plan the campaign to make an optimal reach. And then if we have an optimal reach and we have the video which evokes smiles and positive emotions, then we can generate positive brand associations towards the brand, which gonna affect brand metrics, which gonna affect sales, of course. So this is a, let's say, equation with two parts: the media part with optimal reach and the creative part with the ads which can generate positive response and attract, of course, attention. But what if the smile probability of this ad is 0? What if this ad do not generate any emotional response? What's going to happen next? At the next step, everything, all the rest of the chain not going to work. So if the creative part is not working, then all the rest is not going to work at all, because you just multiple your optimal reach by 0. People do not smile, they do not have any emotional response at all, and you just waste your media budget, and that's it. So I mean that it's cannot work really effectively unless there is no strong emotional response here. And as a result, with a bad creative, your millions of media dollars are just wasted. Going a bit deeply, based on the Nielsen data, creative attributes to around 47% of the sales outcomes. One more time, great creative and good creative, they attributes to 47% of a sales outcome, even more than the brand itself, its already established attitudes and media planning part. And it means that if you can make a great creative, of course you can contribute to sales dramatically. And there is lots of other data from Nielsen, from other big names, about connection between emotional response of the ad and sales lift, which this ad can provide. And we can say that if you can make and can increase number of emotions in your ad but by 2 times in a number of campaigns, you can increase sales by up to 30%. And this is something really important. If you can rule emotions of your customers, you can affect their decisions. And this link between decision making and emotional response is more or less direct. I can tell you it as a just guy from neuroscience. The question is how to make it, how to manage emotions of consumers, how to make appealing ads which generate emotional response, which can win attention, how to make it. It's quite complex and simple at the same time. So to make it, you have to embed attention economy metrics. You have to create ads based on attention economy principles, and you have to measure outcomes and track your uplifts, whether it goes changes are positive or negative in terms of your brand health and emotional response to your brand. Which metrics here exist? So there are a number of metrics, and there are 3 key metrics in attention economy. So the first one clearly is attention, right? Attention metrics, they connected with whether you can see this ad or not. It's quite straightforward. So if you cannot see this ad, it means that it's complete waste of the media budget down the road. So if you can see ad, it doesn't mean that you succeeded. So because maybe you can see ad, but it's not gonna work at all. But if you cannot, it for sure, and this is waste of your budgets. The second important metric is emotional response. If you have emotional response, then you can memorize this content, and it can affect your brand awareness. If you don't feel anything and you have no emotional response, then you're not gonna memorize anything. You can try to remember any event of your life. I'm pretty sure that if you'll do it, all events from your life, if you try to recall it, they have some emotional picture around it. So you memorize. We as a human beings, we memorize things which only are available for us, and emotions are a signal of the values. So if I pay emotion to something, if I feel something about the video ad, I can remember this brand, and then it's gonna affect brand metrics. And the third super important metric in attention economy is associations, which this ad can deliver. There are a number of the most important associations, like purchase intent, let's say, or applicability, but also, of course, message delivery, and whether this ad evokes and makes right connections between different attributes and a certain brand in consumer minds. So if your ad can make people pay attention toward it, make feel something and something positive, and delivers right message and right associations, you're gonna win. But then there is a question of how to make it, how to measure it, and how to make the ad which really can we can be sure that it works nice in all these three metrics. There are 5 instruments to measure attention, emotions, and associations. So the first one is eye tracking. So this is an instrument which allows to understand whether some guy looks to the screen and where exactly he looks, or he looks somewhere else. Another instrument is facial coding. This is analytics of your facial expressions, of your muscles on your face. And the third one is implicit reaction time, and is dedicated to analyze associations, and it measures whether people feel that they want to buy this product, and whether it's connected with something positive or not, based on analytics on both of the conscious and unconscious responses of consumers. Also, there are such tools as electroencephalography, so-called EEG, and fMRI. This is a fancy neuroscientific tools, and usually they are not used in a practice. However, of course, they are super valuable for neuroscience and for consumer neuroscience. And they allow deeply to understand emotional response. However, due to their cost, they're usually not used in practice. So, based on a more than decade of neuroscientific research in this area, and based on our data, we came up with some attention economy principles. This is very nice that we have these tools, and this is very nice that we can collect all this data. But how to make the video ad which gonna work from scratch, not just to build some video and then to analyze this is better, this is good, but how to understand that what we're gonna make is gonna be good. And that's why we formulated kind of attention economy principles, how to make your ad better in a vast majority of cases. To answer this question, we, based on our extensive database with a few hundreds of thousands data points with the video ads from 20 countries across the globe, we analyze which attributes of the videos and which approaches which can be used in the videos really work and which are not working. whether video with a narrative inside is better than the pain solution video, or the pain solution video is better, whether we should use celebrities, whether joke is a good idea to apply, whether we have to use bright colors or gray colors, whether we have to film it with the real actors, and so on. So lots of questions which every creative guy has. So we try to answer based on lots of data which we collected. And I'm going to show to you these principles and what we found. So the first about methodology, so we implied computer vision and analytics of emotional response in a number of data frames. So in each data frame, we knew that here is, let's say, dog, here is a baby, here is a turtle, here is a pack shot, here is a name of the brand, here is a celebrity. This whole video got joyful music and so on. So based on all this data, then we try to find some patterns, statistical patterns, which are repeatable. And we found, first of all, that to evoke emotional response, you have to make video for the more than 15 seconds. Right now, of course, everyone talks about short ads, and they can be really effective. However, if you want really to increase effectiveness of your ad and to make people feel emotions, then you have to make longer videos. With the short videos, it's a really big challenge to make people feel happiness or feel other emotional response. And in the vast majority cases, it's not possible. To win customer emotion with a longer video is much easier, and the cost for 1,000 smiles is much lower for the longer videos usually. So you have to make the video for longer than 15 seconds to evoke emotional response. The second finding is, so what to include in this 15 seconds. So right, we know this, the duration may be 15 seconds. So what's next? And the next is that you have to make it in a narrative. There are different approaches for ad creation. There are videos which trying to make a pain solution. So like in pharma, usually it's video, so like there is this disease and you have to frighten this disease, and then here is this magic pills and you're gonna survive that, right? This is the usual pain solution video. And there are videos with technical description and videos with a narrative inside. And we know right now for sure that videos with narrative work much better than any other approaches that exist. So videos with a narrative, they decrease probability of sadness, they decrease fear, and they increase the number of smiles which people have towards this video. People smile much more in the videos with narrative in comparison with other approaches which exist. So you have to use a narrative to increase emotional response of your consumers. And this is a nice example. So you can see here two videos. Both of them are made by telecom operators. The first one is video which has a narrative inside. So this is a story about strong relationship between mother and her child, and they're not connected at all. And he grows up and he moves to another city. He enters a college. And they don't have any communications. People here, you can see it. So this is seconds, and here is emotional response. And you can see here that people are engaged and they feel sadness at the same time. However, then at the end of the video, he calls his mother, and people smile, and they are as engaged as possible, and everyone is happy that they have this connection. And AT&T provided this connection. And this is, I think, really cool for a brand building and for this ad. So they did really great job here. So they put narrative inside, they evoke emotional response. It was a bit sad during the whole course of the video. However, then they find this beautiful ending with the connection between mother and son, and AT&T provided it. So you see that the brand capitalized this emotional response. And there is another example, also telecom operator from the same region. However, here there is no narrative. It's just generic video with some babies, turtles, birds, something good, nothing bad, but no narrative inside. And people do not react here at all. So low engagement, not so much smiles only at the beginning when children appears, and that's it. So narrative is something really, really important. The next question is what to include in this narrative. And the answer is you have to include here celebrity. All our idea is to increase number of positive emotions and increase number of positive brand associations towards this brand. And celebrity is someone who already has these attributes and he can connect them with the brand. We know that the frames with the celebrity increase number of smiles dramatically and decrease number of angriness and fear in the videos. Celebrity is really useful in terms of increasing emotional response and decreasing cost of this emotional response. So you have to use them for sure. And here is a beautiful example with Ryan Reynolds. So you can see here seconds. And this is the values of emotions through the course of this video. And this is an ad of Sabritas. This is Lace in Mexico. We can see here that when Ryan Reynolds appears at the second number 6, people start to smile. And it's just really straightforward. He appears and people smile, and then people smile, and they smile through the whole course of the video. And interestingly, he appears only at the second number 6. So if they put this guy in the beginning of the video, they wouldn't miss the number of audience who just didn't saw him in the beginning and dropped out. But anyway, even though he's not in the beginning and he's only second number 6, he works well. And to increase the influence of celebrity, how to make it is to make celebrity express more emotions. So we have so-called mirror neurons inside us. This is a system which was evolutionarily dedicated for us to increase efficiency of the learning. So when we see when someone makes something, we automatically can easier make the same things. And emotions work in the same way. If we see that someone cries, we also want to cry, and we have empathy for this person. If someone laughs, you also gonna laugh. So if I will start to smile right now, it will also increase the probability of smile on your side, even though I don't see you, but I'm pretty sure that you at least a bit smiling right now because I smile toward you. And you have to use mirror neurons in your advertising as well. So if a celebrity or any other actor express something on their face and doing it really properly and the right way, so people believe it, they also feel the same because there are mirror neurons working here. So when this girl smiles, people also smile and so on. So there is this quite straightforward connection between smiling actor in the video and smiling people. And at the end of the day, it's very nice that people smile at the video, but how to capitalize these emotions and how to connect them with the brand and how to make this brand increase positive brand attitudes. And to make it done, I have to tell you something about a bit more science about how our reflex are forming. So you know that there's Santa Claus, and Santa Claus makes people smile and have positive response. Coca-Cola do not make anything. So if we put at the same time Coca-Cola and Santa Claus, people gonna smile here. It's gonna and if then we will get rid of Santa Claus, people will still smile and they will be excited and happy, and they will feel connection with family and so on. So they will have the same associations and attributes which Coca-Cola has. So this is how conditioning works, and this is the same way how you should work with your ads and celebrities and everything else. So you should to put in the same place when there is some tension in the video and when the people smile, you have to put here the branding elements. So our mind gonna react to the positive elements and link it with a brand which appears at the same time. And it's super important. So to sum up, kind of principles of capturing attention and evoking emotional response of consumers based on a super big amount of data. So the first thing first, you have to make video which length might be more than 15 seconds. You have to use narrative, you have to use celebrity, you have to use mirror neurons, and to make actor express emotional response as much as possible. And express emotions, I meant, and insert brand materials which might be linked with emotions inside video, and better to make it at the beginning as well, and to show it and make number of exposures, multiple exposures, to make sure that people will remember this brand inside this video. After that, after ad creation, you have to track and outcomes and to see whether what you made really worked well, because it was just principles. But the question is whether you worked well and these principles been worked out and the result really delivers the results which we've been thinking about. And to make it, the super important thing is to track changes at scale through the year, through the different with the different ads and different campaigns. So you can see here how with a certain brand emotional metrics been changing through the year. So here is the January and here is the December, and we can see how emotional response been changing through the time, both engagement and the number of smiles toward ads in the campaign, which was in this month. And also you can see how brand metrics been changing through the course. And this is super important to look at this both two graphs, because this is how effective are the certain ads, and this is how in general effective is this brand, and what is the cumulative effect of everything which was in this left part of the chart. So how certain ads affected brand metrics, how it works out. We can see that they are linked, and if you increase emotional metrics, then it affects brand metrics. But the important part here is that you have to track changes, and if you see that there is some drop here or it's not working here, you have to run number of iterations and to see which ad and why works better or worse. In general, so that's why we're talking about tracking attention, emotions, and implicit associations for each campaign throughout the year, building the really effective long-term relationships between agency and client, and between, of course, client, corporation themselves, and their clients. So if agency provides not only creative ads, but ads which are based on attention economy principles, and they can prove and they can show that it affects emotional metrics, which leads to brand metrics, then this agency can be really effective. And the lifetime value of these clients, of course, is better, like 2 times for if this brand uses these metrics. And here is an example. So one of the largest telecom brands in Mexico already implemented such performance indicators for their ads. So what they're doing, they analyze attention response toward each of their campaigns. They have around 20 campaigns. They compare results for different ads for 20 and 10 seconds to find the most catchy one. And they learn a lot. So they are trying to understand from the one campaign to another why this ad do not evoke right response and why this ad evoke response. So what they have to change in their creative production to evoke much more emotions next time. Secondly, they analyze, of course, emotions because their general aim is to make their customers feel happy. And the signal of happiness, of course, smiles. So it's really important for them to understand whether this ad evokes right emotional response, whether it evokes smiles or not. This is their performance indicator. And also they analyze associations. They analyze purchase intent, brand likability, clarity, and message delivery, and other metrics. So they understand the combination of these metrics to see how in general this works and what they have to change here. And as a result, they got a manageable brand marketing and growth of brand metrics. And this is something really important here, that suddenly their brand marketing became not just something what relies on their opinions, but something what relies on the data. And they know which ads working on the brand metrics and which ads are not working toward brand metrics and why it's so. So what they have to change to make it better, and who might be responsible for this part. So as you remember, guys, brand building is something really important. So brands who can deliver, who has a strong brand equity, they recover fastly, they grow faster, and it's especially important during crisis and recession with budget cuttings and especially media and brand cuttings, which we all aware of. So it's something really important, and it's really challenging. At the same time, right now, understanding of consumer minds is really easy. It's not super easy, however, it's much more easy than it was before. So these days, at the same time, we have combination of the lots of challenges, which lots of challenges from the market and from the media, from consumer trends, and at the same time, a number of solutions which can be provided. And from our perspective, brands who will use attention economy metrics will certainly outperform others. So brands which will use it, they will increase their market share with the same media budget, just because with the same, well, not with the same, but with the creative ads which are based on attention response, they will spend their media much more effectively, and it's gonna bring to them increase of market share. And that's it. While creative agencies who can work with attention economy metrics, they'll get measurable data-driven expertise, and as a result, competitive advantage. They will be able not just to deliver beautiful ads based on their opinions, but they'll be able to deliver ads which work, which can bring some value, which can make brand stronger. And that's why brands gonna choose such creative agencies who can deliver to them such ads, not just super beautiful ads. While at the same time, brands who will miss this trend, they're gonna lose their consumers, and they're gonna be left behind in this technological advancement. So just if certain brand do not cares about consumer attention, they're not gonna have it. While creative agencies who will miss the trend, they are just gonna be washed out for the same reasons. So brands of course looking for agencies who can deliver to them this data and who can deliver to them ads which are based on something what can provide value. So take home message is that building brands has never been so important. Building brands has never been so complex. At the same time, emotions and intentions leads to great creative, while great creative accounts for around 40% of sales. And to make great creatives and to account to sales, right, you have to use attention economy principles, measure outcomes, and track your progress. Agencies which use attention economy gonna have the clear competitive advantage and much easier win clients, and not only win clients, but also save relationships with clients and increase lifetime value, because they're gonna be sticky with those who can deliver ads which are gonna work. Agencies which ignore this trend have the real risk to lose the market. And the same for the brands themselves. Brands who gonna ignore this trend gonna have a risk to lose their positions to those who understand how to win consumer attention and consumer emotions. The way I here in Emonomy help creative agencies to work with industry trends, to help to increase emotional attention response, and to make brand marketing measurable. That's it. Happy to answer your questions. Thank you for your emotions and attentions. Right now, I guess we can switch on microphones. If someone want to ask me anything with voice, you're welcome. And I would love to read the questions in the chat. Where are they? The number. Okay, so I guess I can read the questions and ask them. What are the brand metrics here? The brand metrics there were brand consideration. I don't know exactly about which slide's talking about, but I guess it was about these two graphs. It was a brand consideration and brand awareness. If the maximum for ads is 15 seconds, is there a maximum length before emotion attention start to drop? Well, it all depends on ads. So these principles, they're just like principles, and all the rest, it depends on emotions. So just to be clear, in our database, we not have lots of video ads which have the length more than 80 seconds. So just, and that's why I cannot answer your question directly. But based on not our data, but the data from the science, if you have length of the video more than 2 minutes, of course, you're going to have a drop of the attention. It's possible that you will save your emotional attention during this whole 2 minutes. However, you have to really heavily invest in a script and in filling and all these things to make it work. And it can be quite hard task to make. So that's why in general, we recommend try to make a video in 30 seconds because it's kind of a balance here. So the next question is question about the site tracking emotions during the year. Is it measured for one ad or a total campaign? It's measured for each of the ads in each of the campaigns, and then averaged across campaigns. So this is what I presented. It's the averaged across campaigns. So they got around one campaign per 1 month. So that's why we had that graph. However, it's possible to make in other ways. However, in that case, it was averaged across campaign. Next question is, are we only talking about smiles and happiness? What other emotions you can measure? Not every brand in the business of happiness.
Yeah, if you allow, I can actually clarify a little bit the question. I mean, like, for instance, like I was watching you and like it was pretty helpful. I probably will remember your name and like the name of your company. I haven't smiled a bit like during the session, like I even like considering smiling. And I mean, so like basically the major question is like, should we consider for the campaigns only, I don't know, like some the ads that will bring the smile no matter what you do, or like can you measure other emotions? What are the emotions? Do you know how to work with these emotions? Like that's basically the question.
Yeah, this is a great question. So first and first, there are the first thing that if you have any emotion, it's better than you don't have any emotions at all. Of course, you can remember me and my name do not having any emotional response. However, to make it done, I have to show to you my name or my brand or whatever multiple times. It's all about efficiency. So if you have emotions, then you increase probability of memorization dramatically. Then the next question is which emotion you have to evoke. For a vast majority of brands, they're looking for something positive. Of course, not of them, not all of them. There are, let's say, guys from pharma who are looking for fear, and they're trying to frighten people. At least at the beginning of the video, they're trying to show that this is a very bad disease, so you're frightened, and there is this magic pill, you're gonna live. So it's another story. However, in general, brands pay attention to positive emotions. So that's why I focus a bit more on them. However, if you have other, let's say, aims and you want to make people have another emotional response, it's also, of course, to measure, and we deliver data about also about sadness, anger, disgust, fear, what else? Surprise, and confusion. So this is the data which we deliver. So if you're interested, an example, more in anger than in smiles, we can do it. Yeah. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like I still didn't grasp the concept. What would be on the slide then? Like we saw the slides, like this is like the chart for the smiles and like the amount of the people smiling raises, and then like the BHT is also raised, like on the other chart. Like what would that be if we are not working with the ads that actually, I don't know, like inspire you to smile literally?
But inspire not to smile, but feel yourself sad, let's say.
Okay, so like your system will measure it, like it will catch it.
Yeah, it's gonna catch it. So there are, like, let me show to you this graph one more time. So blah 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 blah. And something else very interesting. Yeah, here it is. So there is two graphs. So this graph is about engagement. It's not only about smiles. It's overall about emotional response. Basically, it's anything which is not a poker face. So it can be both sadness or confusion or disgust or surprise or whatever. And here are the smiles. And the best predictor, basically, of awareness and brand recall is not smiles, but engagement. So if you want to increase recall of your brand, you have to have emotional response, not so matter whether it's positive or not. Smiles are more useful for other part of brand health, let's say, like brand consideration. It's more affected by smiles than by other emotional response. However, it's so really individual. So I just showed to you these few graphs with other companies. They pay attention to another metrics, and I cannot tell you like there is this silver bullet and it's going to work all the time. It depends. However, overall, always you have to track engagement, while smiles you have to track in the vast majority of cases, and for vast majority of brands, it's going to work. While other emotions are more, let's say, important to understand overall reaction to different parts of the videos and to provide creative insights, like why people not smile. So they're whether sad for some reason, or they're disgusted for this ugly guy in this ad, or something else.
Okay, and can I ask the like last question, and other guys have other questions? I mean, if you're talking about the digital, like how do you actually measure it? Like, I mean, like not everyone is looking at the screen when they're watching the ad. Sometimes it's just the background and they're doing stuff, not even looking at it. I don't know, like are they doing anything but watching the ad? Like what is, I don't know, like in your experience, what is the percentage of the people who actually like had a view, like per se, like it counted as a view, but you could actually measure the emotions out of the whole picture?
One more time. So your question is how much people really have emotional.
I mean, like for instance, we are running the brand campaign. I don't know, like let's take the, I don't know, like whatever platform they're gonna take, and our outreach is 120 million, for instance. Not 120 million are gonna like actually look at the screen, like to measure it. Like it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get lucky if it's gonna be 20. I mean, so like,
Yeah.
what is your experience in this regard, and how like this like response and emotions? What kind of percentage of the whole bunch of the ads we are talking about?
It all depends on the media channel. So it's not, there is no average number which is consistent across all ads in all channels. Today we focus more on the creative part. However, the media channels is really super different. So like it can differ a few times, 5 times. Actually, it can differ easily for the same ad in different media channels, like in Facebook or in TikTok or in open web or somewhere else. It differs a lot. However, in general, the number of people who have emotional response toward ad usually is for around 10% of the audience. So 10% of audience, usually no more than 10%, feel something about this ad. However, also it all depends on the media channel and on a certain ad. So there are some cases when it even can be around 40%. There are cases when it's 0%.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your questions. So the next question is, many global brands are under the mandate to have to pass some creative testing systems, an example link, to be able to be aired. Do we have any learnings about leveraging attention economy to help drive the chance to pass these creative testing programs? You mean how to increase, somehow to imply attention economy toward increase scores in link? Is it your question, right? Yeah. We don't have such experience, so I can't answer a question. However, my idea is that link might be just replaced. So I mean that link can be used somehow as a part of evaluation of attention, and it's not exactly something what not goes in line with all these things. And I guess it all different sources of the data, and we have to have the full picture of everywhere. However, we have somehow to show to CMO or whoever makes decisions that guys, you have the source which you have to take into account is the data about attention and emotions, and this is the most important thing which you have to think about. However, I'm pretty sure that implying this attention economy principles and other things affects scores in link. We don't have any comparisons between them, so I not gonna lie, of course. But however, I'm pretty sure that if the ad increases attention, it also increases link scores. Any other questions? If you have any. Looks like we're done with questions. If it is so let me wait for the 20 seconds. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Okay, thank you for participation. So, okay, 20 seconds are over. And looks like no more questions. Thank you for, okay, we have a question. How long does it take to implement attention economy in business processes? What are the costs? Yeah, this is the right question, of course. It all depends on how complex is organization and what are the processes inside. In general, it takes just to start. It takes around few days to weeks to just to understand what are the principles, how the measurement is done, how regularly we have to do it, and so on. However, to make attention economy really work, you have to spend a few months just because you will understand better which approach is working in it, which are not working. You will start to learn to communicate. If you're a brand, you will start to communicate with agency with a new feedback. If your agency will start to communicate with brand in another way. So it takes few months to establish these relationships and to get the most out of this data. To make it really valuable. So we're always saying that the real outcomes they coming for the not from the first campaign, but from the second, from the third campaign. The first campaign is also good and it can increase metrics. However, something really valuable goes not from the first time. The costs they all depend on how deeper we go and which part of metrics we provide, and it all depends on the business and the country. So I would love to discuss it with you better personally and to answer your questions how the pricing model works. Yeah, well, sure, we can connect in LinkedIn and we'll be happy to share with you the cost structure. Any further questions, or we're done for today? Okay, another question. Why attention economy hasn't been implemented yet in all big brands' marketing strategies? This is a good question. So I guess it's all matter of time. There will be no possibility from technical point of view to make it trustworthy, cheap and scalable at the same time. I'm pretty sure that at the next from 3 to 5 years, at least 10% of all big brands will analyze all their ads and all their campaigns using attention emotion economy measurement and will build ads based on the things. So, and I'm pretty sure that in the next 5 years, we'll start mass adoption on these methods. Before there was no just enough data and there was no enough technical capabilities to make it work. Soon we'll see the new bad marketing, I guess. Hope so. Yeah, me too. Anything else? Right. Looks like no. Okay, so thank you for joining today. It was great questions and cool conversation. Hope to chat with you in some future, and we'll have a next webinar, I guess, in 2 or in 3 weeks. So we'll see. Hope to see you there as well. Hope see you around and have a great evening and the rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks a lot, all. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan.